Raise your shirt up. Raise both your shirts up. Alright, you're good. I'm off the porch. Come on back. Come on back. Stop.
Hey, go ahead and go down your knees. Alright, man. Bring your left hand back. There you go.
I got you. 178, lifeline emergency. Hey, man. Come on, man. Stay awake. Come on. Come on. Stay awake. Stay awake. Wake up. What's your name? God, I don't know where you got hit.
A couple of days ago, police had come across a dying man, one they couldn't save. The crime scene had no eyewitness, but a trail of blood led investigators to evidence that ultimately resulted in the arrest of this man.
Alright, so, well, just me. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, doctor.
Just when they thought they were closing the case, they'd realize it was far more complicated than they thought.
So she started searching for people to try to rob and stuff. I was like, nah. And then she was boom. I have this guy.
In fact, the real mastermind of the crime was still out there, someone they'd already met.
Now's the time to be honest, okay? So you need to tell me exactly what happened.
You told me to tell my baby.
Hey,
Hot Springs 911.
Hey, I'm at Autumn Street. We heard shots go off. There's a guy out here who's been shot. He's guzzling blood and he's screaming.
Ma'am, what's the address?
Autumn Street.
Autumn, someone's been shot?
Yes, ma'am. Someone's been shot. He's outside screaming help.
Is he black male? What?
He's black.
We've got officers in route hunt, okay? Is he sitting up, conscious?
But for now he is. He keeps falling on the ground. I think he just went out. He's got blood all over him.
Hey,
come on.
Yeah.
Hey. He's about to go.
He's about to go.
On March 23, 2019, shortly after this 911 call, the officers in Hot Springs, Arkansas were dispatched to the scene.
I got you. 178, lifeline emergency. Hey, man. Come on, man. Stay awake. Come on. Come on, stay awake. Stay awake.
The responders found shocked bystanders and a young man lay laced in blood. They couldn't tell where he bled from, but he was still alive and they had to hurry to save his life.
Wake up. What's your name? God, I don't know where you got hit.
The investigator at the scene couldn't assist the victim as he wasn't trained in treating head wounds, leaving him to wait until paramedics flooded in.
No, I just heard the gunshot, and then I heard ringing, and then I heard him jamming on this door, and I just got my window.
Copy.
What do we need to do with him? As far as, I mean,
I don't know what we can do right now.
yeah, I don't want to not do anything medical, but I don't know.
Do you know who he is?
Nobody at the crime scene knew who this man was and how he ended up on this apartment's porch. But the next moment was about to decide his fate.
Man, he's moving his head a little bit. I don't know where he got hit. He kept saying his mouth, they said, I guess.
127.
Got it.
Coroner, as in what other notifications? Yeah. They said he came running from over there. 103's over there now. Over here. No.
Despite their best efforts, the victim succumbed to his injuries before offering any clues, leaving investigators with a puzzle and few answers.
No.
The investigators now had a lifeless body on their table with no ID card or wallet. His identity remained a mystery until a fingerprint scan revealed who he was. He was Keon LaShawn Jackson, now dead at the mere age of 21. The investigative team was asking around the crime scene whether anybody had caught a glimpse of Keon's assailant.
Okay, ma'am. I just need to get some info from you really quickly, okay? Did you see anything? Okay. right, what is your name?
Sophie. I said I heard the shots, and I didn't think nothing of it. Because it was real faint.
Heard 4 shots.
And it was real faint, and then I heard.
You came out that door first?
Well, actually, I think she was out here first.
Okay, but then in reference to this, you came out of this door before she did? Okay, you came outside, you saw him running from the street, like where that tree is, or where was he at?
He was coming from this way, like just like in our road, like as he was coming. As if
you mean your parking lot here?
Yeah, in our parking lot.
He was coming this way across the parking lot.
Yeah. And like he came over here and sat right here. He already knocked on the door.
So you saw him headed?
He actually fell on the ground over there.
Headed east in parking lot, fell, and then you said he came over here banging on the door?
On number 30. And it's all over the door handle and
everything. Knocking.
Yeah, because our door's unlocked.
30, don't do that ever, that's not safe. Permit 30 door, asking for water?
No, he was calling help. At that time, he was calling help. When I went to him, he was sitting down. Like, when I got to him, he was sitting down, and he was like, oh, I can't breathe.
The officers were in a fix with limited information on where Keon came from, but then the officer picked up something that could lead them to a breakthrough.
I guess Shane and them found a blood trail that heads up that way. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Hoping to find the original crime scene, investigators followed the blood trail. But this path was going to lead them to a lot more. Following the blood trail, they were now a block away from where Keon was found, and then it died down in the middle of a parking lot, but with a massive blood splatter. This was where the real violence had taken place.
He was on the passenger side. That's the exhaust from the car, right?
Yeah.
Right there. He's on the passenger side.
There's... That's wrappers for a blunt.
Yeah.
There were signs of struggle at this place, such as scuffed pavement and streaks of blood. But what they found next could be the very reason Keon was killed. A crime scene and a packet of marijuana. Officers immediately knew drugs could have been involved. Was it a deal that had gone awry? But the perpetrator was still out there. Soon the investigators gathered more details from the person who saw Keon every day, his live-in girlfriend.
That night, Keon and I were laying down, ready for bed. We had showers and everything was ready for us to just go to sleep. He had gotten a message on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, that somebody wanted to buy something. So, and he would make $80 off of it. So he left and told me he'd be back, he would go do that and come back. Around 2:20, I call him and he doesn't answer. So I text him and he doesn't reply or read it. Then I call again and then the phone is off. Like it just shut off, like the straight to voicemail. So that's when I start worrying. So until the sun came up almost, that's what I was doing, just constantly calling, because at that point I knew something was wrong.
The key evidence indicated during this deal, something happened out there that resulted in the killer shooting Keon and leaving him back to die, but they also left the marijuana behind.
So I see on Arkansas 911 News that there was a shooting and that there was a death, they called the coroner. And I asked them if the body that they received or picked up was his, and they said that it was. So that's when I knew that's why he's not home. And then everything fell apart. My next step was I contacted the detective. I automatically sent them any information that I had.
Though Carrie did not exactly know who was on the other line, she suspected a name, and this would mark a new chapter in this investigation.
She said that he was talking to this Morgan over Facebook Messenger. So we started trying to get into his Facebook and look at friends of his that were named Morgan. We came across the name Morgan Tollefson, and she was known to our department in different incidents, being in and out of some trouble. So we decided to start with her.
When officers put out a bolo alert for Morgan through their CAD system, they were expecting problems getting a hold of her. But in a couple of hours, Morgan called the station herself and told them she knew they wanted to talk and that she was up for it. If this cooperative behavior continued in the interview, they would get to the killer sooner than they expected.
How you doing, Morgan? Have me get sit over here for a minute. That's my chair.
Sorry.
You're all right. It's okay. Sorry it took so long. It's a busy, crazy day.
The line of questioning for Morgan began with exploring her connection with Keon and the capacity in which they knew each other.
You know Keon Jackson? Keon Jackson?
Yeah, we fool around.
Morgan colored herself red under the name Keon. This murder was about to take a romantically jealous turn, but quickly a drug angle to the story was introduced.
You messaged him last night?
Yeah, it's Boo Man. That's his nickname. I don't know if his name is Laquan or Jaquan.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to get a hat from me for $80.
Tell me about all that.
They told me that they have the money and that.
Who's they?
Boo Man and his brother. I don't know. I never met them before.
You're saying Boo Man?
Mm-hmm.
And then, what's his name? Jaquan?
Yeah, either Laquan or Jaquan.
Morgan was forthcoming about being a drug deal mediator between Keon and a man who went by the title of Booman.
I don't know him that well. I've been around a couple times, and he said he was trying to get half for $80. And Keon had messaged me earlier that night, and he was like, I think he said he got 3.5 for 25. So I don't know if you know, like, marijuana prices, but usually 3.5 is like $40. That's a pretty good deal. So when they asked me what I was like, Keon has a price how much you got it for? And he said, yeah.
Morgan said she was not there at the time of the deal, even though she was the one who rang him and set this deal between the two parties. The investigators were not quickly on board.
I told him to go to Spring Street.
You said you were going to meet him there? Mm-hmm. But if he's going somewhere he don't know who he's meeting, how's he supposed to know what's going on?
Right, I agree. I guess I didn't think that far.
So you might want to start being real honest. You might want to start telling me the real truth. You're 18 years old, okay? You got a long life ahead of you, okay? You set up a deal, and now that man is dead. Right now is the time to talk, okay? You're in it.
Officers reminded Morgan of all that she could lose at the end of this, and it seemed to have moved something in her. She soon gave them a name whose fear was keeping her silent.
What's done is done. Like I said, I appreciate you coming in here and you're talking to me. I feel like you're telling me most of the truth, okay? You don't want to be fully wrapped up in it, okay? Now's not the time. Now is the time to be honest, okay? Like I said, you don't want to be wrapped up in this, okay? So you need to tell me exactly what happened. I know it's tough. Let me get you some tissue. I know it's tough, but I need you to tell me what happened.
You told me to kill my baby.
Look, he ain't gonna be able to get to you, okay? Whoever this is ain't gonna be able to get to you.
It really is Booman.
Booman, aka Laquan, was with Morgan when the deal broke out violently. But was it the entire truth? Until the end of these confrontations, it rarely is.
Tell me what happened.
He told me that he was gonna buy it, like he was legit. And he told me to start walking to the car. And
So okay, where were you at?
I really was behind the economy, and that was. So I started walking through the middle of the projects, and I came behind, in front of the basketball courts, and walked that way. And I saw Keon's car. Well, I don't know if it's his car, but the car was in a gray. I don't know if it was a Charger or it was a Dodge something.
Yeah.
And as soon as
I'm sorry, my best friend got murdered in November, so for like the same. So,
I understand. I get it.
As soon as I put my hand on the passenger door, because I'm
Did you get in Keon's car?
yeah, because I was gonna talk to her first. As soon as I opened it, Blue Man came running. I didn't even when I came up to the basketball courts because he was in the apartment.
What's your apartment?
He said it's his aunt's. I don't know whose it is.
You saw him come out of that
Yeah.
apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then he ran around and he opened up Keon's door.
The driver's door?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Keon said something like, "Mom, what's going on?" And then he shot, I think, like 4 or 5 times. And one of them flew by my ear. My ear was like ringing. And then Keon turned over from the driver to the passenger, got out the passenger door, and then he started heading towards like the other section of the apartments. And Blue Man hopped in the car and he grabbed my arm. And like half my body was out, like my feet were out the door and everything. And we drove, like the one way by First Step. One of the back alleys by this White House. And he checked the car, to see what was in it, the weed was in there.
Where's the car right now?
It should still be there. He left it there. And then he started running.
So, okay, where did he drop the car?
Okay, so I'm trying to think.
Can you take me through it?
Yeah.
Morgan seemed quite heartbroken at the loss of Keon's life, but how much of this story matches the truth? The missing piece of the puzzle was with the Booman.
And she was talking about Boo Man. Of course, we wanted to know who is Boo Man. And one of our great sources is social media. So we decided to turn to social media and see if we could find a matching profile of somebody going by Boo Man. While I was in the interview room with her, my partner at the time was on the outside looking up profiles and looking at different things. He believed he found someone that was Boo Man, and his name was Laquan Pascal. So at that point, the next step would be to get her to identify the person she knew as Boo Man to be Laquan.
With Booman now as a prime suspect, officers kick the investigation into high gear.
Is that who you know as Boo Man?
That's when Morgan exposed the next layer of Booman's plan. This wasn't over after the gunshot. The real cover-up had only just begun.
They actually stole Keon's vehicle during the incident after he was shot. They all jumped into Keon's vehicle and drove it to another location. And I asked her if she would show us where the vehicle was at, and she agreed. So we actually put her into an unmarked police unit and drove her to the area.
Morgan led the detectives directly to the vehicle Booman thought they'd hidden for good.
Could it be back there behind it?
No, because I know it was a White House at the corner. It was right here. There it is.
And just like that, there it was, Keon's car, left behind and deserted, as if that alone could erase what had been done.
I can remember seeing bullet holes in the vehicle itself. I could see that there was, I don't think it was even dried blood yet, but there was still trace evidence of blood outside and inside of the vehicle. It's important that we get it back to the PD because the evidence that we had corroborated Morgan's story, that it was actually involved somehow in the crime.
We had identified Laquan. Morgan had told us about the robbery, so we felt like we had enough for arrest warrants. We actually had other detectives come in to attempt to locate Laquan.
With the car found and the story coming together, Booman's time was up. The officers moved in. There was no getting around the evidence.
Go ahead and bring it up. Thanks to your partner. We're looking for one. Did you say anything?
Sure, but there's been any response from the door. As affirmative, we made contact with Fiance and the female. They made contact with the subject's mother. She's supposed to be in her house. She's refusing right now to let us go in and check out.
In speaking with his family and mother, they were not fully cooperative on the front end. And Mr. Pascal they knew him to be inside the residence. He was not cooperative, did not want to come out.
They found him hiding in a house, staying put and refusing to come out.
So our units began setting up a perimeter for a possible barricaded suspect for a SWAT call out. And before all that could be set into motion, his brother actually was able to talk him into coming out.
Come here. Come here. Go over there with your mama. Come on. Stay right here. Hold on just a second. Check him. You're good. Hey, you're good. All right, man. Good job. One. Raise your shirt up. Raise both your shirts up. All right. All right. You're good. Take a step to your left. Come off the porch. Come off the porch. Come on back. Keep turn around. Turn around. Come on back. Come on back. Come on back. Come on back. Stop. Stop. You know what I mean? Hey, go ahead and go down your knees in the corner. There you go. You stay right there, okay? All right, man. You're just looking back. There you go.
And just like that, the so-called mastermind was finally in cuffs, his calculated chaos brought to an end.
At this point, we have our main suspect in custody, and basically we need to figure out what he knows.
From the streets to the station, Boomin was finally face to face with the truth. And this time, there was no slipping through the cracks.
How you doing? How are you doing? Good. Chair right here for me. All right, come on. Okay, before I talk to you, we're here in the police department. It's a formal interview, okay? Yes, sir. So I want to make sure you understand what your rights are before I ask you anything, okay? Yes, sir. Laquan, you know why you're here today?
Because they said that I murdered someone.
Okay, who said that?
Well, that's what the streets tell me.
Okay, so tell me about it.
I would like to have a what's name present. Also,
a what?
Attorney present.
Okay, no problem.
Boomin knew it was the beginning of the end. As things closed in, he asked for an attorney and went quiet.
Once I leave the room, Laquan is sitting inside the interview room, and he's just, appears to be just thinking, what are they doing? What's going on? Eventually, he starts knocking on the glass and wanting to ask us questions.
The detectives weren't expecting a confession, but they also weren't prepared for what came next. When Boomin finally spoke, it wasn't an admission of guilt, but something that caught them completely off guard.
Yes, sir. What will I be able to know what's going on? Because you said that, I said that I wasn't willing to talk without an attorney, but
yes, sir.
I was wondering, what's up? I told you, remember about the murder.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah, you have an arrest warrant for murder in the first degree, aggravated robbery, and theft of property. Okay.
All right.
I've got the paperwork done. All I'm waiting is somebody to come pick you up. Now, okay. Beyond that, we can't talk about the case.
Okay. When will someone be able to come discuss about me watching? Who gonna come talk? You know what I'm saying? How we just gonna talk?
If you want to talk to me, you have to tell them that you want to talk to me. If you don't, you and I won't talk again about this. Cool?
Yeah, but.
Hello?
Sorry, sir. What? Just me.
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, doctor.
The mastermind behind the chaos finally came clean, but the real shock was still to come. The story was far from over.
I'm thinking, okay, we've got our shooter. We have the guy who killed Mr. Jackson. But there's those questions. Why? Who was with him? What was going on? What all took place? So, of course, we wanted to further that interview.
The detectives didn't waste a second. They pressed harder, uncovering more details of the conspiracy.
This is what happened, sir. Okay, so I had a little red truck. Have you heard about a little red truck came stolen? I had a little red truck that I stole. I had it for 4 days or so now. I've been riding around and stuff. So Morgan called me off of Facebook.
Is that little S10?
Yes, sir. Morgan calls me off of Facebook and tells me to come pick her up. So she got some L's of leaks. People set up rob. So she started searching for people to try to rob and stuff. I was like, nah, not home, not him, not that, you know. And then she was boom, I have this guy. And then she was like, sell weed, and she was like set him up to tell her bring. I was like, tell me bring it out.
And just like that, the floor dropped. The man they thought was the mastermind pointed the finger back straight at Morgan.
This is obviously not what Morgan Tollefson had told us. It looks like she was distancing herself as far as she could from this so that hopefully she would not get charged.
Morgan's version of the story was completely different.
You told me to kill my baby if I...
Look, he ain't gonna be able to get to you, okay? Whoever this is ain't gonna be able to get to you.
It really is dramatic.
The entire case flipped in an instant. The hunter might have been the mastermind all along.
We started plotting out there, plotting to where we was gonna do it. She went outside to get in the car, and I went up, and I opened the door, and I told him to give me everything. And then I seen him reach for a gun, so I shot him. And Morgan got out the car, and the guy, he ran and got out the car too after I shot him. And then we got in the car, and then I left and went up the car off, and got a ride and separated. And that's what happened, sir.
Morgan was called back for questioning, no longer just an informant, but a suspect they never saw coming.
Remember when you and I talked, and I told you to make sure that you're telling me the truth? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you didn't do that, did you?
What did I not tell you?
About your role in this and everything that happened.
Okay.
But Morgan played it cool, wide-eyed, innocent, like the accusations were news to her. If she was the mastermind, she wore the mask well.
Sometimes you'll have to go with a bad cop and say, listen, you know, I know what you've done. You know, we have proof, and this is what happened, and this is when, and you're going to tell me what happened.
And in that spin, the real chaos began.
If you're lying to me, I'm going to find out. And, I mean, I was just, I mean, it was awesome the way he come in here. I mean, he just laid everything out for me. I mean, it's in your best interest right now just to tell the truth. Get it off your chest, and let's roll with this. Okay? I know he's the one that shot it. You didn't shoot.
I didn't know he was going to shoot me.
Okay.
But we went there because we needed somewhere to post up, and I knew that that was like a bando.
Do what?
It was like a bando, like an empty apartment.
Okay, so you knew the apartment was there. So you took them there. Okay. And y'all were setting him up to be robbed.
No, I thought he was lying.
Look.
But he told me he wanted weed, like.
And y'all were setting him up to be robbed. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, he was gonna take his weed.
Y'all were setting him up to be robbed. But why? I mean, why him? I mean, that's what I
don't know. Blue Man just said anybody. I help you.
You thought of Keon?
Because he had texted me earlier saying that's what I'm trying to do.
But Morgan wasn't folding. She fired it right back, claiming that Laquan's story was far from the truth.
So during the interview with Laquan, he had said the reason he shot Keon is because he thought Keon was going for a gun. So I wanted to know if Morgan had seen Keon with a gun, because if potentially that could change the charges in this case.
According to Morgan, it was a different story entirely.
You never saw Keon reach for a gun? There was no gun in the car? Didn't find no gun?
No.
What did Laquan do with his?
I don't know.
You were about to say because something, what was that?
Oh, when we parked the car, Laquan looked through the whole car, looked through the trunk, everything, and there wasn't any gun. He was looking for the weed.
So with that also kind of told me that Laquan was just using that to possibly lighten and load a little bit, and just give us an excuse of why he pulled the trigger, to hope that he could use that as some kind of defense later on.
With the blame bouncing between them, detectives knew it was time to check the one thing that wouldn't lie, Morgan's phone.
After interviewing Morgan, we were able, of course, to confiscate her cell phone. at which time we did obtain a search warrant for that cell phone and were able to do a full data extraction. And in that, we were able to find the messages, her phone logs, her text logs, even her Facebook Messenger post that showed the interactions between her and Laquan, as well as the interactions with her and Keon, just kind of confirming that she had pretty much just as much responsibility in the death of Mr. Jackson as Laquan being the shooter.
The spotlight shifted to the courtroom. Laquan Fonte Pascal and Morgan Bailey Tollisfon, now center stage, faced the full weight of the law. Laquan Pascal folded first, pleading guilty and taking a 40-year sentence. The so-called mastermind is now just another inmate counting decades. Morgan Tollisfon held out longer, playing the game until the very end. But she finally caved when the evidence was stacked too high to climb. Guilty plea, 25 years. When greed and betrayal collide, there are no winners, only victims like Keon. What pushes someone to betray those closest to them? And most importantly, could justice ever truly make up for what was lost?